Hey, what is up, YouTube? This is Murmur Master coming at you guys from the Teen Time Riders Yugioh channel, and it's here, the one and only deck of the one-off villain slash character who played against the great Chaz Princeton. This is the deck of Reginald van Howell III. As I mentioned in my last profile, it is a work in progress, but it is the most viewed Reginald van Howell III deck profile on YouTube. I've done a couple of changes to the deck, so I really hope you guys enjoy them. Basically, if you guys want to go back and watch GX, I believe it's the first episode of Season 2, Chaz duels a snot-nosed brat named Reginald van Howell III. And he plays a Gilford the Legend deck. So how does Gilford the Legend work? You basically equip a bunch of your cards to two different monsters throughout the course of the duel, and then when you normal summon Gilford the Legend to your board, Gilford the Legend will then equip all the equipped cards that you have in your graveyard to himself and boost up to massive amounts of attack power. Do note, guys, one of the unfortunate things about him is that he cannot be special summoned, so you got to rely on normal summoning. Luckily, we have some interesting cards in here that do just that. So let's start things out. We've got, of course, 2 copies of the titular Gilford the Legend. I'm thinking about bumping him up to 3. I'm trying to make the deck more Gilford-centric, but that's currently a work in progress right now. Now, a card that Reginald van Howell himself ran, we've got our 3 copies of Marauding Captain. This is probably your best card in the deck because you can set up your Marauding Captain lock, which is a lock that basically, when you have 2 Marauding Captains on your board, your opponent cannot attack anything because they both will redirect attack power to themselves. But the real reason that you use Marauding Captain is because he can special summon another level 4 monster from your hand, which allows you to get 2 summons for the price of 1 and is amazing in a deck like this. You want to assemble your tribute summons as fast as you possibly can, so using Marauding Captain in here is the way to go. Next, we've got 2 copies of Gilford the Iron Knight, who stops equipped cards, but the real reason we have him in here is because our end goal is to go for 1 copy of Gilford the Swordsmaster. Now, Swordsmaster, unlike his equip-hating previous form, allows you to destroy a monster your opponent controls whenever you equip a card to him. So if you equip 3 cards in your hand to him, he can destroy 3 monsters your opponent controls. So really cool card. A little bit inconsistent to bring out, but I'm trying to find ways to do it more effectively. We've next got 1 copy of DD Warrior Lady. I'm missing Warrior Lady of the Wasteland. Trying to see how I feel about that card considering its battle destruction kind of effects, but it was one of the main cards that Reginald van Howell used in this deck. But nevertheless, having DD Warrior Lady in here, who is Warrior Lady of the Wasteland, but having gone to the DD or different dimension, she can basically banish any monster that battles with her, as well as herself during the end phase. So really good card, and super awesome way back in the old days, the Dark Crisis era. We've next got 1 copy of Exiled Force. This deck is actually based on the Warriors Triumph structure deck that came out years ago, and I think that Reginald van Howell as a character was made to try and market and sell that structure deck. But one of the things in that structure deck is Exiled Force, one of the best cards for years. We now have Dino Wrestler Pankratops out, of course, which is, Konami trying to power creep this card and Cyber Dragon all at once, but Exiled Force basically allows you to tribute him and you can pop a monster your opponent controls, so really cool. 1 copy of Goblin Attack Force, also present in that deck as well. Nice 2300 beater. Sometimes he sticks around for a while, which is really good. Now we have 1 copy of the Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke, who destroys face-up defense position monsters your opponent controls on contact. We've got, of course, 1 copy of the Armed Samurai Ben K, who was another staple of Reginald van Howell's deck, who he tried to use to beat up a bunch of Chaz's Ojama monsters, and was about to win the duel before Chaz pulled some of his magical plays out of his rear and switched the duel to his favor. Now some other cards in the deck that are just generic kind of warrior support, but nevertheless really good. 1 copy of Valkyrian Knight. This card is actually really good because it is another part of the combo of the Marauding Captain combo, where you basically have him attack each other. So if you have Marauding Captain and Marauding Captain, or Marauding Captain and Valkyrian Knight, you can bring him to the board. And then he also, if he's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can banish a warrior-type monster and this card to special summon a level 5 or higher warrior monster in your graveyard. That's perfect for some of the next combos that we have in here for this particular card. We've got the Mystic Swordsmen, particularly level 2, level 4, and level 6. For cool plays, level 2 destroys face-down defense position monsters, in a normal way, and so does level 4 as well. And basically, they're really, really awesome effects, and if they destroy a monster by battle this turn, which unfortunately does not happen with their destruction face down effect, you can special summon the next level up. The cool thing about level 4 and level 6 is level 4 has to be summoned. He can't be normal summoned, so you can't just normal summon level 4 with 1900 attack, but you can special summon him off of Marauding Captain to give yourself a nice 1900 beater, and will still allow you to go into your Mystic Swordsman level 6. And as long as level 6 was special summoned in the correct way first, you can revive him back to, from the graveyard with Valkyrian Knight, which is really, really cool when you're trying to get some extra damage in. Next, we've got one copy of Dark Blade for that nice 1800 attack power boost. Cool card as well. We've got one copy of Command Knight, who is the exact opposite of Valkyrian Knight, but if I pull them up next to each other, you guys will notice that they're mostly the same card, you know. This is Command Knight and Valkyrian Knight, mostly the same card. But Command Knight, when you control monsters on the field that are warrior types, you cannot attack Command Knight. But Command Knight will also give a 400 boost to every warrior on your side of the field, which is quite nice when you're trying to assemble a big board and go for some nice game. One of the best cards in this deck is the Obnoxious Celtic Guard, who was also in the Warriors Triumph structure deck, so I justify running him in here. Basically, Obnoxious Celtic Guard cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster of 1900 or higher attack power. And so if you've got, like, if your opponent's got, a whole bunch of cards on their side of the field, like, a Borreload Savage Dragon and a Crystal Wing or some other things like that, they actually cannot out this card, which is crazy if you guys think about it. You'd have a massive field of cards that negate attack powers, but one card that cannot be destroyed by battle can stop an opponent's entire board. And the final card we've got in here is Swift Gaia the Fierce Knight to close out our monsters. When it's the only card in your hand, you can normal summon him to the field without tributing. That's going to do it for the monsters. Moving on to the spells. These are a couple of pretty self-explanatory spells here. We've got one copy of Monster Reborn, obvious. One copy of Swords of Revealing Light, obvious. One copy of Magical Mid-Breaker Field protects your monsters from destruction by card effect, which is very, very important. Forces your opponent into the battle phase, which is nice. We got one copy of a Warrior Returning Alive. If you want, you can switch this out for Reinforcements of the Army if you'd like. I don't have Reinforcements of the Army in this deck right now because it was never run by Reginald. However, I definitely will consider it once I change the deck up to fit a little bit more of Reginald's style. But he just seems like he seemed to me kind of like a snot-nosed brat and someone who, talked big without being able to actually know how to run his deck. So that was something that I considered when deciding whether or not to add the card in. One copy of Lightning Vortex gives a nice discard effect, allows you to get equipped cards to the graveyard for your Gilford the Legend. And here's the card that lets you go into your Gearfried the Swordsmaster, a copy of Release Restraint. Tribute a Gearfried on your side of the field to special a Gearfried the Swordsmaster from your hand or deck. One copy of MST, also in the deck, and two copies of the Lightning Blade. Really, really interesting card. Boosts a warrior-type monster's attack power by 800 points, but also decreases the attack power of water monsters by 500 points. So kind of cool if you're running up against a warrior deck, or you're even fighting against the Admiral. All of his monsters will decrease by 500 attack, which is surprisingly interesting when you can get that effect off. We've next got one copy of Fusion Sword Murasame Blade in here. A nice equipped spell card for powerful special abilities. And speaking of power, we've got one copy of Mage Power. This card is really, really good because you can just set a whole bunch of your equipped cards, and Mage Power will give 500 attack power for every spell or trap card on your side of the field. Now, the really cool thing is when you have a field spell card in your field zone, that's a total of 6 cards that you can have. So Mage Power can grant a total of 3,000 extra attack power to a monster you control, assuming your back row is all filled up. Good card as well is Magnum Shield. Monster will gain attack points equal to its defense or defense points equal to its attack. Mordschlag is another great card who, when a monster is attacking, when a normal summon or set monster attacks a special summon monster, it is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects of those special summon monsters. And if it battles one of those monsters, that monster loses attack and defense equal to the equipped monster's original attack during damage calculation only. So super, super cool, guys. And definitely a way to out those really, really powerful monsters. Good thing to know. 1 copy of the Wicked Flamberg spell card, also run by the one and only Reginald van Howell. Discard a card to equip, and then gives battle protection and 500 attack points. We've got the Divine Sword Phoenix Blade. Almost had to get banned, I believe, guys. I'm not sure if it still technically was supposed to be around, but you banish 2 warrior monsters and add it back to your hand, but it's a nice 300 booster as well, and can be an extra card for you to discard off of some of your effects. We got 1 Bash and Shield. Basically increases the attack power of a monster that you control by 1,000, and you take no battle damage from attacks involving that card. And the final card is Solitary Sword of Poison for our equipped spells. When a monster is the only card you control and it attacks into a monster, double its attack power during the damage calculation. Super, super cool. And I'm really glad that Konami decides to release random equipped cards like this, you know, every now and then, because Solitary Sword of Poison was actually released in Cybernetic Horizon, but it just kind of dropped with nobody really looking at it at all and just being one of those extra commons. So when I talk about, you know, Konami really throwing us a bone for some of our old decks every now and then, cards like these are exactly what I'm talking about. Now, only a couple of trap cards in here before we're finished up, and those cards are as follows. We're going to put that up over there. 1 copy of Blast with Chain. Increases a monster's attack power by 500, and then if it is sent to the grave while equipped, you destroy a monster. You can destroy any card your opponent controls. So this is actually a cool combo that you can combine together with your Gilford the Iron Knight, who will destroy any equipped cards equipped to him to immediately get a pop-off during your opponent's turn. And then finally, 1 copy of Magic Jammer for magic destruction, and 1 copy of Royal Decree to lock down your opponent's back row. And that's going to do it for our Reginald van Howell character deck. Really hope you guys enjoyed the profile. If you did, please remember to rate, comment, subscribe to the Team Time Riders YouTube channel, and I'll catch you guys next time. This is the Merman Master, signing out. See you guys.